Hello, welcome to the Sideboard here at the StarCityGames.com Standard Open in Richmond, part of the SCG Tour, brought to you by Ultimate Guard. I'm Nick Miller alongside William Bingham. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty well.
You are crushing this tournament.
Well, thank you.
People are clamoring for the deck tech. You're 10-1. We've had you on camera twice playing Temur Eldrazi.
Yes, sir.
How'd you brew this thing up?
So basically, I took some of the best value creatures that I could really just find in the format. Elder Deep Fiend is Mistbind Click. It's a big brother, assuming that fairies are related to octopi.
Sure.
I guess they're cephalopods technically, but and going from there, the blue value creatures, obviously Sky Spawner's great, and then the mana base kind of set itself up to just allow me to play the best cards. Obviously, we're going for an emerge theme here. Wretched Drift may not be the best card, but it allows you to trigger Sanctum of Ugin. This deck plays 4 Sanctum of Ugin, so an ideal draw could be a turn 2 Mimic into either Sky Spawner or Matter Reshaper with a turn 4 Elder Deep Fiend. With Sanctum of Ugin, you can chain Deep Fiends. You can have, I've taken 3 consecutive turns with Deep Fiends, in this tournament. It is not super unlikely. We have 2 of the best removal spells in the format. And you have a couple toolbox slots. I'm only playing 2 Reality Smashers and 1 Drowner of Hope. It's pretty common for, to Elder Deep Fiend either during an upkeep or an instep, where you'll use Sanctum of Ugin to go get Reality Smasher to attack for 10. It also makes your man lands a lot better. Fumarole frequently just gets in for 4, which is a huge life swing. And again, you have tons of value creatures.
You kind of have the best of both worlds in this deck, because we saw the Emerge decks, a couple seasons ago really doing well based off Elder Deep Fiend, and we haven't really seen the card take off yet. Some people speculated it could be in the Saheeli Rai decks, but this looks like a great shell because you just get so much value off of your early cards. Sky Spawner, Rogue Refiner, Matter Reshaper, all just lend itself perfectly to just kind of be emerged. And then you just have the best of the Eldrazi hits. Thought-Knot Seer, format-defining card, no matter what format you're talking about, is just very good. And now we got to mention this one here. We got some new ones.
Well, that card
We've got the Metallic Mimic. I'm assuming you're naming Eldrazi.
I am. In almost every scenario, hypothetically, I could name Human if I had 2 Rogue Refiners in a very bad situation.
Sure.
It does matter. It could, having a versatile Lord, but in this deck, pretty much everything is going to be Eldrazi. And
you get to combo it with, the tokens off Sky Spawner and the Drowner, which seems pretty nice to just be able to have 2/2s. Now, were the Temur colors because you have, the best lands, basically, for this shell? You have all of the creature lands and the fast lands. Was there just no way to get white in here for Displacer?
I feel like that's too greedy. I think I'd rather be consistent. And I feel like Displacer in this deck, if I'm playing Displacer and Rogue Refiner, I think I'm going in a Panharmonicon direction. I'm taking up more slots. This is very streamlined. I don't really have any slots that are, the most questionable cards are a Crumbling Vestige.
Sure.
And you can argue against Wretched Drift, but again, having 6 ways to trigger Sanctum of Ugin in the main deck is huge.
Right, and we've seen the Sanctum of Ugin be important in all the Colossus decks, but now being able to just chain your Deep Fiends in a deck that can truly chain them and then just close the game with the flow of those is just very important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, you get to play Shock and Harness Lightning to supplement your blue and green cards, basically, or your Devoid cards.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just have all the hits.
Yeah, Rogue Refiner makes Harness Lightning much better, and having Harness Lightning, Shock, and Thought-Knot Seer to deal with a Saheeli combo while being able to apply pressure with creatures. I think one of the best things about this deck, if you look at it, it's very, not necessarily aggressive. I would label this much more as a tempo deck. All of the creatures on their own are going to be value. I have had Lost Legacy cast naming Elder Deep Fiend, which is an eligible target. And even then, I still have a value creature deck. I'm still, fine.
All right. So you have a bunch of interaction for the Saheeli combo. How's your black-green matchup? Because the black-green and the green and black decks are all over this tournament.
I would say that black-green is going to be primarily a tempo matchup. The first person to stumble is going to fall pretty far behind. And that goes either way on either side of the table. I feel like post-board, I'm pretty comfortable in both games. Again, it just depends. You really want your removal there, and your value creatures get a lot better.
We get to talk about the mana base because you have both creature lands. We haven't really seen, the green-blue one, the Lumbering Falls, get enough play lately. We've all seen Wandering Fumarole. This deck gets to play both. Of course, you also have the Vestige and Aether Hub, which just pulls all of the weight in this deck.
Yeah, this deck definitely kind of revolves around the power of Aether Hub. I want colorless lands, but at the same time, I do have some colored requirements, and the deck could not function without it.
Okay, let's move into the sideboard where you have just a slew of different cards here running around. We've got Unsubstantiate, but also Baral's Expertise, which kind of plays into your tempo game plan, I imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. Baral's Expertise has been huge. Being able to play it on turn 4 following a Sky Spawner allows you to bounce 2 of your opponent's creatures in your own Sky Spawner, getting another token. So basically it costs 4 mana at that point. There are just a lot of things that you can do with a card. I've won the game every time I've resolved that card.
That's a good thing to be doing. You also have counter spells here between Negate, and then you have your artifact or, enchantment removal between Natural State, and World Breaker is just kind of this catch-all Eldrazi. Release the Grillman's a card that's been popping up in popularity in a lot of sideboards.
Yeah, it is a Manic Vandal on its face, and it has the potential to be much, much more. For 5 mana, if you compare it to Acidic Slime, you're getting 2/2/2s, and it kind of scales up from there. I unfortunately have not gotten to cast it throughout the tournament, but in testing, the card is great.
Sure. Incendiary Flow and Chandra also here along with Jace, Unravel of Secrets, kind of gives you a bigger mid-range feel if you want to go that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you board into a tempo deck, playing against, Grim Flares or the snake that, I'm not sure the name of it. The Winding Constrictor, is that? Yeah, Winding Constrictor. Incendiary Flow is great there. You want to keep them off their turn 2 plays because it makes anything they could do on turn 3 much worse. Sky Sovereign has been an all-star in this tournament. And really, I think I would change, a reasonable amount of the sideboard if I was to play in an event moving forward. But overall, I feel like the list is very solid.
Right, I was going to ask you the final question, what would you move going forward? You've played 11 rounds with the deck. You're crushing most people. The main deck seems pretty solid. You mentioned the sideboard. Is there anything you want to try to squeeze into the main deck, or are you happy with where it is?
I don't think I really have any complaints about the main deck. Again, possibly in the mana base. I think one of my favorite things about the mana base is I get to play 4 basics, one of which being a Wastes and 2 Evolving Wilds, which for 6 land slots, it's a lot of versatility. But I would say, Crumbling Vestige is either fantastic or terrible. And it is, it's seldom in between. Not helping to cast a Deep Fiend on, turn 4 is huge, but at the same time, adding a green mana or, for a turn 3 Rogue Refiner or, just having turn 2 Harness Lightning on your turn is pretty big. It would be more Aether Hubs if I could legally play them, but that's not an option.
All right, so where do you see, if this deck becomes popular or the meta game, where do you see everything kind of moving with this thing becoming a player? Because you seem to be doing very well, a couple wins away from a top 8. A lot of people are very interested in this deck.
Absolutely. I could see it, kind of changing, and warping around the format, or, even the format potentially warping around this. A lot of the control decks in the format now don't really have many things that can interact with this deck outside of Torrential Gearhulk or an Infinite Combo. Mm-hmm. And there aren't many effective hate cards. Ceremonious Rejection is probably going to be the best card against me. And even then, it is situationally narrow, and I don't know. Moving forward, I would definitely sideboard 4 negates. I don't think I would bring all 4 in a lot of matchups, but I like having the option to stop Anticipates, to stop just really anything my opponent's doing, which gives me an even greater tempo advantage.
All right, well, the deck looks great. You're off to an awesome start. Couple rounds, just got to rattle off a few more wins, and you're in the top 8. We wish you the best of luck. William, thanks for joining me here in the sideboard. Stay tuned to StarCityGames.com all weekend long for the action.